Hello person, welcome to this place. Today we are going to go meta. We're going to do some meta composition. Okay, so here is a song I recently finished, and I'm going to use this as the source material to make something new. So you can find it on SoundCloud here. Here's a quick burst of it. So I am going to grab a bit of it there, press Command D, and grab myself a simpler, put it on this MIDI channel, and then drag this piece of audio straight into it like so, and then put it on slice mode, turn the gate on. I've got these various warp modes I can now mess around with. So on this MIDI channel, I need to grab myself, let's say those 4 bars, compress Shift Command M, make a MIDI track. It will be triggered at C3, as I'm sure we all know. Okay, so I'm just going to take a minute now to put a legatoed 4-bar long MIDI note on every single note. Yeah, so you'll see why. So now I'm going to grab myself an arpeggiator as one, stick it on random, and if I now hit play, you can see that it's just randomly triggering 8th notes, any old sample, up and down from C3. Okay, so I'm going to remove a few of these markers so we get some little long snippets triggered as well as short ones, just completely randomly, here, there and everywhere. Come back to that in a moment. And so now the fun begins. So now with it in the Pro Warp mode, we can mess around with the envelope here. We can mess around with the gate time and make each firing really short, or fill out the duration of each trigger, making the gate longer. If we put it on texture mode, and just mess around with the grain size and the flux, you can hear that we get interesting sonic timbres. If we put it on beats and put it on the forward mode so it just plays once through and stops, we can adjust the fade out, and make each firing of each sample longer or shorter. But there's lots more we can do. So if I grab myself an LFO, I can then map that to the transpose, put that on random, okay, and decrease the depth somewhat and the offset, and sort of decide where in that transposition range I want it to fire. So kind of higher. You can see it's sort of triggering in a defined range here. I'll speed that up. Okay, and then I'll turn on the smoothing a bit. So we get some occasional kind of bends as it moves from one to another. Some happy moments of luck, and let's keep going. So now a great thing to do would be to add a delay, turn off the sync, get another LFO tool, and map that to the time. And what we're going to do is decrease the depth and define a range roughly kind of around here, have it much slower. Okay, it's on 50% dry wet, 50% feedback, that's fine. You can hear that. And so now if we go back to the simpler in the arpeggiator, if we turn off the sync here, turn down the gate and just mess around, and here we're getting some kind of interesting transient-y stuff. Okay, I might just adjust the offset. I'm just, tweaking it, finding some little sweet spots. Keep accidentally moving the viewer of the simpler here, but I'm just trying to slide along backwards and forwards. I'm messing around. I'm going to put the number of steps up so it jumps around a higher range of octaves. Maybe about there. Let's add in a trash 2 and just in effect make it a lot louder, distort the hell out of it if you like. I'll choose clip control, an old favourite. Yeah, and so hopefully you can hear just using this song. I guess you could use anything, any song in the whole wide world. You can come up with some interesting stuff. Okay, so I'm just adjusting the fade out, the gate, the rate. And when we feel like we have something fun, we can grab ourselves an audio track, set it to resampling. And just capture some of that, and then use that as your beginning source material to compose from. That's the general idea of this quick vid. So kind of there. You never know quite what you're going to capture, so I will arm this track. I'm going to hit record. Awesome. Okay, so now we have that happy accident. What we could do now is go back to the simpler and just choose a different warp mode. Let's put it on texture. That sounds pretty awesome. Mess around with the gate a bit. Let's see. Maybe about there. We'll go again. I probably should have renamed this track. I could call this one, Flux, whatever we like. Let's just now capture that happy accident. Brilliant. Okay, so now I'm gonna just turn off the simpler track, and I'm basically armed with these 2 audio files, which I can now use to compose. What a great thing, huh? So yeah, I'm just going to spend a few minutes now chopping these up and just kind of see what we can come up with. Okay, so I'll turn that track on. Obviously now the fun begins. You could kind of just, use the loop switch to sort of preview bits. You might capture accidental rhythms that could then dictate the BPM that you decide to make a track at, and the time signature. You might just find something that works in 3 or 6. So that kind of feels like a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's like a 2/4 thing somehow. Here we go. What's this bit? Yeah, so let's see what we can find. And when you find a bit, you can grab it, press Command D. Let's make a new track. Command T. Throw that down here. We'll come back to that in a minute. So I'm just kind of audio mining now. I'm just pulling out bits that I think sound good and we could perhaps make drums with it or some kind of funky groove. Let's see. Okay, so now I've grabbed a few bits and let's just see what we can do. Stick them together in a simple beat. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but you can see the fun of this. You just go back to your first track, tweak a bit, resample again, and if you spend enough time doing this, and it's hours of fun, I think, you'll just find wonderful tonalities, wonderful timbres that you can mess around with. Okay, so after 2 minutes of tinkering, I have this. Crazy. Mere beginnings, right? So much more you could do. Of course, you could then create another audio track, resample that. Let's just quickly do that. Okay, and then you know, throw that in a sampler, improve it, stick some EQ on there, see what we've got, check out those frequencies. Whoops, let's solo that. At this stage, we're just, you know, being drastic. Okay, you can get some really good results if you just go heavy-handed, let's say. Okay, and this is the fun of all this music production stuff, of course. Just throw things on, see what happens. If you don't like it, you know, I've wasted 10 minutes of my life doing this. It doesn't matter. The process is what counts here, right? So let's just see. So it, you know, it could be something. It's missing top end. You could kind of go again with the same process, as in stick on another delay. You get the idea, don't you? The corpus is also wonderful. Get some good results from this. Punch in the key of the tune you want to do. So if you wanted to be in F, you could be at 349.23. The membrane's pretty interesting. Hear that? Hear that strange? It's a crazy thing, right? So much more you could do. Yeah, so hopefully that gives you a few crazy ideas for doing some original composition. Okay, see you soon.
UON Music.